But we want to let you know right now the homicide rate in the city of Jacksonville is on a grim pace to exceed 2019, one of the deadliest, most violent years in recent memory. On your side's Jeff Vallon tonight's looking at the numbers and what experts have to say about a possible connection between the coronavirus pandemic and violent crime.
We need to flatten the curve.
It's become a familiar phrase in discussing coronavirus, but that's not what longtime community activist Ben Frazier of Jacksonville is talking about.
When it comes down to the violence that we are experiencing in our city.
50 homicides in Jacksonville since New Year's Day, 29 since March 1st. Coincidentally, the day Florida saw its first reported case of coronavirus. While it's impossible to prove a correlation,
I think that's definitely true. What I've been hearing from people that have been coming to see me is that they're very stressed. They have a lot of increased anxiety and also depression from reduced hours at work.
Licensed mental health counselor Angela Hainsworth says she's hearing similar narratives from her colleagues about their patients.
Let's stop.
Frazier, founder of the Northside Coalition, doesn't disagree.
There may be a connection with regard to cabin fever and people's mentalities and emotional state.
He and Hainsworth just have slightly varying suggestions that are more complementary than conflicting.
Put the gun down and stop jeopardizing the lives of innocent people.
I would say just, seek out the people that are good supports for you and, let everyone know that you're also there for them, because oftentimes people don't say that to their loved ones.
At a time when distancing is so crucial, Hainsworth says we must not lose connection.
This is something that's really never happened in our time, and people are having to make adjustments, and it's just going to be something we're going to just have to get through together.
Jeff Vallon, First Coast News, on your side.